Today I'm going to be working on editing an assembly. The history on this is that this was an extrusion die for making doggy bone treats that are sold in the country oven restaurant chain. This was one of those hurry projects, and when my customer got this, he later stated that there was a little ridge on the inside of the cavity, but other than that everything worked fine, so we never looked any farther into it. In any case, last week I decided to have a closer look at this and see what it was he was talking about just for the heck of it. And sure enough, there were some discrepancies in there. This caused me to go ahead and look at the rest of this part and find that there were problems in other places too. I'm going to take this assembly and I'm going to show you how to fix these problems using direct editing. First thing we're going to do is correct the aluminum block. Right click, left click on edit, opens it to edit it in place. And I've applied some dimensions ahead of time, but I want to talk about these a little bit. I'm going to use the very outside edges and the tops of the beveled edges to drive the dimensions that control the cavity and the bolt holes on this. So, since I want to do that, I've locked down the overall width and I've locked down the dimension, the overall width on the beveled portion. Since I'm using these to drive other dimensions, I want to make sure that they stay in relationship. In any case, 0.844 is what I'm going to use for the dimensions on both sides. So I will left click on that, pull up the dimension prompt, and I like what I see there, and so I will lock that. Then I'm going to go to the other side, do the same thing. Notice I'm constraining the dimension going from the outside in to the center of the hole. That's how I want to drive this. I want these dimensions to be relative to the outside of the block. In any case, I'm going to lock this and type in 0.844. Hit enter again. And these are adjusted. Now, the holes move in unison. These cavities are another case. I have to window pick all of the surfaces if I want to maintain the relationship that this shape has to itself. Not only do I have to do that, but I have to window pick all of the cavities if I want all of them to use. Technically, I can't tell you why this is the case in this model. This is an imported model rather than having done this directly in Solid Edge and editing it there at that time. So perhaps that is the difference. I'm not sure. In any case, the answer to the problem is very simple. It's all in how you select the features to edit. So let's window pick all the cavities. You can see they're highlighted. What I want to do is divide the difference between the two sides. I want to drive it from the outside going in. 1.7 should do it. Hit enter again to accept it. And as you can see, we are good to go. Now, that finishes the editing of the aluminum block. I could lock these dimensions down, but since I'm not doing any further edits, it really doesn't matter. They're not going to change unless I do further edits, and then I would deal with that at that time. Close and return. Let's work on the plastic blocks. Let's open this up for editing in place. Now, I happen to know that it is 0.101 from this edge to the top of the block bevel, and on this side it is 0.113. So I want these blocks to be even, and here's how I'm going to do this, and I mean even to relative to the side. And I'm going to pull that out, 0.013. On this side, I'm going to pull it out 1,000th. Now, if you run into this situation, the simple answer is this. Relaxed dimensions does not destroy any of the relationships elsewhere in the model, but it will, however, allow me to edit this particular part of the model. So let's try this again. Want to bring it out 0.01. Okay, are you going to cooperate or not? Might be necessary to suspend the live rules on this. Between the two, generally, if you have problems getting your edits to work, this solves the issue. 0.001, enter, and enter again. Now, our blocks are precisely 0.10 from the top of the bevel to the outside of the block now, which is what I want. However, we have a hole problem here. This is how you fix that. Window pick this hole, put the steering wheel into the middle of the hole. Now, click on the blue field and mouse over the hole in the aluminum block, and it will automatically center the hole in the plastic block. Accept this. Now that hole is perfectly aligned with what's in the aluminum block. Let's come over here and do the same. And those are aligned. We still have a problem with the discrepancy in the cavity where the plastic block meets with the hole in the aluminum block. And this is how we're going to take care of that. I'm going to window pick the feature, delete it. I'm going to come around to the bottom side, and I'm going to extrude. I'm going to select a chain, and I'm going to pick both sides. It will pick up the cavity has been removed technically, but there is still a feature there that you can recognize to some degree, in that there's one in the aluminum block, and we can use that. Now, I want to remove it. That puts my cavity back in. I'm going to close and return. And you will see that all of the cavities have updated. All of the plastic pieces are now in line. This is dimensionally precise. These parts can go on in any direction, and it doesn't much matter. And this is how you fix an assembly using Direct Edit in the Solid Edge. And thank you for your time.